Hello my dear students, today we are going to discuss chapter 7 and 8 in our story Treasure Island. Let's start with chapter 7. Chapter 7, Captain Smollett is worried. Let's start with the first question. Captain Smollett asked to speak to the squire in his cabin. Discuss. Captain Smollett asked the squire to speak with him in his cabin. Captain Smollett didn't like the crew or the place where they were going, and he didn't like Arrow the mate. He didn't like secrets or treasures. So Captain Smollett spoke to the squire and told him that he didn't like the crew or the place where they going because he didn't know anything about it. Okay, Captain Dr. Livesey and the Squire Trelawney didn't tell him anything about where they were going or why they were going there or anything, and he started to hear from the crew about secrets and treasures and an island that they will go to search for treasure. So he didn't like the crew or the place where they were going. Question number 2. What did Smollett want as the captain of Hispaniola? What did Smollett want as the captain of Hispaniola? What did he want? He wanted to keep guns and gunpowder under his cabin, and he asked the squire and his friends to stay at the end of the ship. He wanted the guns and the gunpowder for the guns under his cabin, and he asked the squire and his friends to stay at the end of the ship. Comment. I know only what I hear from the crew. Who said these words to whom? Captain Smollett said these words to the squire in his cabin. He didn't like that the crew knew more than him about the journey and the treasure. So no one told him about anything, where they were going or what about the journey, what about the treasure or what they are going. He knew everything from the crew, so he didn't like this. Number 2, I think there are only 2 men on board with us. Who said these words to whom? I think there are only 2 honest men on board with us. Dr. Livesey said these words to the squire after arguing with Captain Smollett. The squire didn't like Smollett and thinks he is a troublemaker, but the doctor didn't agree with that and told him that 2 men are honest on this ship, the captain and Long John Silver. So the doctor told the squire these words after they were arguing and talking loudly with Captain Smollett. When Captain Smollett told them that he didn't like the crew, he didn't like the place they were going or anything. And the squire didn't like Smollett because he is arguing. He didn't like him and thinks that he is a troublemaker. But the Dr. Livesey told him he didn't agree with him about that the captain is a troublemaker. He is not a troublemaker. And he told him that there are 2 honest men on this ship, on Hispaniola. Who are they? Captain Smollett and Long John Silver. Chapter 8, Long John Silver plans a mutiny. Why did everyone like Long John Silver? Everyone on the ship like Long John Silver. Why? Because he had many stories to tell and he was kind to Jim too. So he is a kind man to Jim and he told stories about everything all the time. He told stories so everyone loved him or liked him. Number 2, what do you know about Silver's parrot? Long John Silver has a parrot. What do you know about Silver's parrot? What do you know about this parrot? Its name was Captain Flint. It was a noisy bird that was always talking. It didn't know many words, so it said the same words again and again. This parrot is called Captain Flint, and it was a noisy bird. It was talking, and it didn't know, the parrot didn't know many words. So it repeats the words, the same words as it hears them. The apple parrot became very important. Explain. The apple parrot became very important. What's the meaning of parrot? Parrot is a large wooden container shaped like a can. They put the apple on it. One night, Jim went to the barrel to eat an apple. While he was sitting beside it, he fell asleep. He woke up on Silver's voice. He heard John Silver was talking to a sailor called Dick. Long John Silver was talking to a sailor called Dick. He told him stories about Captain Flint and told him about life of a pirate. Then he talked to Israel Hands about the mutiny. So Jim was sleeping. He was going to have an apple from the barrel, and he fell asleep. So when he woke up, he heard Long John Silver was talking to Dick, and he told him about Captain Flint, the treasure, and the life of pirates. So after this, Long John Silver talked to Israel Hand about the mutiny that they will do after this. The mutiny is the act of followers going against their leader. So Long John Silver was talking about a mutiny he will do against their leader, okay, the leader of the ship. So they will go against the leaders of the ship. They will make a mutiny. Comment. Come and sit with me and say hello to Captain Flint. Who said these words to whom? Long John Silver said these words to Jim on board of his Hispaniola. Silver was kind to Jim and wanted him to talk to his parrot, whose name was Flint. So Long John Silver asked Jim to come and talk to the parrot, Captain Flint. Its name is Captain Flint. And he was kind to Jim. It's not good to give the men these things. Who said these words to whom? Captain Smollett said these words to Dr. Livesey. He was angry because the squire gave the men rum and apples. He told him that this is not good for men to have rum and apples. As soon as we get to the island, Who said these words? To whom? Silver, Long John Silver, said these words to Israel's hands while they were talking about the mutiny near the apple barrel, where Jim was sitting. He heard their plan to take them to the island and guide them to the treasure's place. So Long John Silver said these words to Israel's hands. He told him that we will do this as we get to the island. When they will get to the island, they will make the mutiny. They will go against the leaders on the ship. They will take the treasure and they will make the mutiny. Please study well these questions and study chapter 7 and 8. Thank you.